I'm remembering the days where I used to have to like light incense and burn sage. it, it makes it brings the spirit vibe to the place. Where you feel the chanting music and right. It's reminiscent of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it's the Korra one where Tenzin is like trying to set the stage or get everybody in the mood just to send Korra off into the spirit world. And Korra's like, "You've never done this, have you?" God. And then Janora, who's like, "It's just part of my life, you know." So, but I'm feeling the need or the desire to have like the pedophilia Nag Champa burning incense in my room, and not the pedophilia one, but like there is nothing that reminds you of a gateway to spirit than that Nag Champa incense, especially when you're walking down the streets of LA and you catch a whiff of it and you're like, oh, that takes you out of the Matrix. Oh, that there's somebody like there's somebody that's spiritual instead of a muggle. Um, and there's something to be said about that because like Sai Baba's ashram is totally filled with perverse energy, and the idea that like our brains have been programmed to be triggered like the smell of Nag Champa is heavenly or divine is really weird. So it's a social patterning, like it's associating pedophilia with a rose. And so like when you smell the rose, it bypasses the pedophilia in your brain. So it masks it. And that's how Slytherins actually operate, and that's why the Red Rose is part of the Netzakian crew, is that when you hide the deep shadow with something divine, or the facade of something divine, it bypasses somebody's innate logic or common sense or pragmatism. So the Tara understands this teaching immensely because she's the seraphim. So people who are seraphims get it. Or Hoshmalim. They go like you can't sell me on sweet chatter when everything else just looks like a pile of turd. And it's better to be more cutting and sincere and to the point than selling yourself as sitting on a pedestal as a marker of God or an authority while spewing the preach of love and light and then a knife rape. I don't clean out my lower selves. This, that, I have snake brain still. So once you cook out your snake brain, the whole world changes because you start seeing Slytherins for Slytherins, and you go, they haven't cooked out their snake brain. Otherwise, they'd be like enforcing it. They'd be like, don't talk to me unless you cook out your snake brain. Now, I already did this video, and it had to be cut out halfway through because somebody was in their incessant mind chatter attacking me for being a Slytherin without having done any of their actual work. They have not turned their lower selves to gnomes. They have not cooked out their snake brain, and they're really not doing any of the work that's required for a true ascent. It got to the point where 30 minutes of the video was me battling that person, and I just go, stop record, I'm gonna redo this tomorrow. And that's what Slytherin is. They are irreverent troublemakers that think they know everything, that haven't even done the proper alchemy on themselves, and then are going to waste everyone's time for infinity. Unconditionally. And so those people, Netzach is closed. I want to call you a Slytherin because I feel like it. Or you make me feel like I have to do real work, so that's Slytherin. There was one vignette that I do wish to add that was in the last video. And it was talking about Misty and Misty's ascent across the abyss. And why. So the context is missing for me adding this vignette. But there's something to be said. She is an unmarked griffin, but she is a griffin. And the griffins are no, 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 no to this, no to this, no, 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 no. Okay, boundary dragon. It is a no universe. No to that thought, no to that emanation, no to this timing, no to that posture, no to this, no to that, no, 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 perfection. Okay, that's Misty's entire life. No to this schedule, no to that food, no to this, no to that, no, you're not white, no, you're not black, no this, no that, no, 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 no. And then she fucking ascends. Because her life is impossible. Okay, that's a no person. And God says yes to them. Kali Ma says yes to them. And people like Star, which is yes to this food, yes to knife rape, yes to this, yes to me indulging in video games while my student, my apprentice, starves to death on a beach. Yes to this, yes to that, yes to me being the master of the universe. At all expense, I will have all force and no form. Yes, yes, yes. That Star on the inside. That's lust and a fucking Slytherin. And Netzach is closed. no is higher than yes. Bina is more no than GEBURAH. Just so everybody knows that. It's a B no. So to ascend into Auror, you have to be a no. Be no. That's the fem. Let's begin. Dimension 1. We're going to do 1 minute intervals for the home. And then we're going to do 20 second, 20 second, 20 second on the city yoke, on the Hufflepuff yoke, and then on the world shell. Dimension 1 is about the self and developing a healthy sense of self. So we'll start at the 15 second. Okay, Dimension 1, home. All right. So do you see where the energy is frazzled from all that rhetoric? That's why we do no. I'm going to explain something. The less words you say, the more words each will. I'm sorry, let's repeat that. The less words you say, the more each word will matter. But that's also the expense of energy. The times for which I am better in my circus classes or any athletic performance is when I'm actually not joking around and taking it seriously and am in the zone and focused. So, me losing it like that is effective for breaking an energetic pattern, but then it leaves a psychic trauma. So then we throw in the gray paste. And then we'll start over. This is important because GEBURAH is learning how to do good magic even when you're under duress or fire. That you need to learn how to do a proper neutral cleaning quickly with something like gray paste or the Gryffindor lava charm and get yourself out of harm's way and then be able to still produce some kind of elegant magic for a child or for yourself or for a family member or somebody you love. So let's fill in the gray paste for 1 more minute. Somebody's saying I'm way nicer online than I actually let on. Yes and no. My online presence is also for students that I have actual reverence and respect for. So we're getting that final 15 seconds of gray paste. I am proportionally as kind to you as you are to the planet, to the whales, and the dragons, in a heartfelt way. All right. One more minute. Now you can put in the liquidy gray paste. It's more like a paint. It might drip down your central nervous system and your spine. And it might coat your neurons in your brain. Okay. And then go to your sacrum. Dimension, and now we're starting to feel better. If I'm feeling better after all that, then you guys should be able to feel better. Okay. Dimension 1, the home. Let me see how much better that goes on. All right, Dimension 1, the city oak. Okay, 20 seconds on the Hufflepuff yolk, Dimension 1. And the world. All right, dimension 2 on the home. This is creating a healthy sense of self in replication, also a space to create, a slate to create. The city oak, dimension 2. The Hufflepuff yoke, dimension 2. If you're feeling like it's way too fast, I understand. We're just doing the best we can at this speed. The world shell, dimension 2. Okay, dimension 3 on the home. Dimension 3, city oak. Hufflepuff yoke, dimension 3. The world shell, dimension 3. The home, dimension 4. City yoke, dimension 4. The Hufflepuff yoke, dimension 4. The World Shell, dimension 4. The Home, dimension 5. The City yoke, dimension 5. The Hufflepuff yoke, dimension 5. The World Shell, dimension 5. The Home, dimension 6. The City Oak, Dimension 6. The Hufflepuff Yoke, Dimension 6. The World Shell, Dimension 6. Dimension 7, The Home. This is Spiritual Light. Dimension 7, The City Oak. Dimension 7, The Hufflepuff Yoke. Dimension 7, The World Shell. Dimension 8, Home. Now into the past. Not really allowed to time travel. It's a karma clean, by the way, unless you're an aura. So unless you actually have marks and then have your aura levels done. It's a Slytherin thing to say. All right. City yoke, dimension 8, now into the past. That's how you know Star stole dimensional mastery from other planetary systems in the Archangel Library. Hufflepuff yoke, because there are rules that go along with every dimension. She doesn't teach them. She doesn't believe in them. All right. Next, 30 seconds. The world shell. Dimension 8. There's also the component, why is 0 people teleporting after 20 years of dimensional mastery classes? And why cannot, like, one person from the lineage talk to me? All right. So then we go the world home. Nope, the home, dimension 9. I don't consider Elaine and Stacy part of the lineage. They're part of the dragons. City yoke, dimension 9. Hufflepuff yoke, dimension 9. And I'm hearing it's because they can barely get into their root chakras. Oh, you mean where you perform actions in life? All right, the world shell, dimension 9. So ascended masters can get into their root chakra. They can get into all 50,000 of them. Celestial guidance. So this is where the dragons come in. Boom. All right. The next is the home, dimension 10, where my intention is. Now into the future. So it's about my intent. The only kind of prophecies in life that are real are either self-fulfilling crap Slytherin prophecies or things like Lucifer is the bringer of the dawn. That. Okay. So, Dimension 11, home. Oh, crap. I just stole something from all of you guys. Dimension 10, City Oak. We said something funny last time about Lucifer is Hermione on crack. I don't know if it's on another video, but if it's not, or if it is, deal with it. Okay, next, 30 seconds. Dimension 10, the Hufflepuff yolk. You'll start to see that paste. It looks like toothpaste almost coming down. Or maybe it looks different to you guys, but... And then next 20 seconds, the world shell, dimension 10. It's just popping through my body. All right, dimension 11, bone on the home. Here comes our Malkuth health dimensions. All right. City, dimension 11, City Oak. Starts to provide a health for all the muggles and other witches or wizards that may be hanging out. Some of you think of it's helping your dragons. All right, Hufflepuff yolk, dimension 11. World shell, dimension 11. bone. All right. Dimension 12, muscle on the home. Dimension 12, city oak, muscle. Hufflepuff yolk, dimension 12, muscle. Dimension 12, the world shell, muscle. Some of you might feel really stable and good with your life right now. Dimension 13 on the home. Dimension 13 on the city oak. Dimension 13 on the Hufflepuff yolk. Nerve. Dimension 13, nerve on the world shell. Home, dimension 14. Circulatory. Dimension 14, circulatory, city yoke. Dimension 14, the Hufflepuff yoke. Circulatory. And then the world shell, circulatory. Digestive. Home, dimension 16. All right. Dimension 16, city yoke. Dimension 16, Hufflepuff yoke. World shell, dimension 16. Dimension 17, endocrine on the home. All right. Dimension 17 on the city oak. Dimension 17 on the Hufflepuff yoke. Dimension 17 on the world shell. All right. Dimension 18, reproductive on the home. Dimension 18 on the city yoke. Dimension 18 on the Hufflepuff yoke. Dimension 18 on the world shell. I hear Elaine going, I don't want to replicate knife wipers. Reproductive. Just remember, Dimension 18 is locked out for Hufflepuffs and higher. So reproductive is for, because we're weeding out the confessed muggles off the planet. It's a 5D Ascendio, Hufflepuff planet or higher. Christ or higher. No more reptile children that will get guns and shoot you. Like, because their parents are reptiles also. Okay. Dimension 19. The children are the easiest to save, but it's not. They still have to go through the genetic mutations and cook out their snake brains, and it's challenging without a school or a school system. Dimension 19. Everybody wants to keep reproducing reptile children, but nobody wants to clean up the mess that they make over the next 50 to 100 years. So I gotta be the bad guy saying, nope, they are confessed and they are gonna weed out with their fertility. They have no access to the reproductive systems. Sorry. It's part of the Republican agendas. Like, we don't believe in abortion, but we are not going to help you take care of your children for infinity, and you don't even get welfare. Or if it is welfare, it's like minimal or completely shame oriented, and there's very little education system surrounding even how we're going to help you raise your child in the future through an ascendio on top of that. Okay, so Dimension 19 home. Let's keep doing that. Somebody's asking me, do I believe in abortion? I do not believe in abortion as a form of birth control. Does everyone understand that? I had this abortion, and this one, and this one, because I just can't control myself, and I have zero respect for anything, including my own body or life. So I'm just going to keep on getting abortions all day long. Yeah, people do that. It's what makes abortion look really bad and a form of enabling and abusive instead of, oh, we had an accident. I will never make that mistake ever again. All right, Dimension 19, City Oak. Yeah, I can do it with my body whatever I want to. So like zero, especially at the expense of everyone else. Those are called entitlements. You guys are guests on a planet. And then you're thinking you're entitled to do whatever you want. What? Okay. So, dimension 19. We're slowing down because we have to have the birth control conversation. GEBURAH is no. So unless you're planning to have a kid, don't have a kid, because like those are how confessed muggles behave. Masters don't behave like that in life. They live consciously and deliberately in the now. They forgive their past and they move forward and go, those were bad mistakes. I will learn my lessons. And then they move forward. God. Dimension 19, Hufflepuff yolk. Dimension 19, world shell. You can do them both this next minute. Dimension 19 is lymphatic. So this is your detox. So the detox of bad decisions in life and like old dogmas or old rhetoric. Like, I wouldn't be the person who I was today if I didn't make all those choices in my life. Because I'm such an amazing person. I want to continue to pat myself on the back for everything that I did. Yeah. Let me tell you the reason why my mom thinks that I'm the devil. She kicked me out once when I was 17. Made me like homeless, all right? She kicked me out. And then I went and stole from some psycho girl's wallet so I could like have food and like clothes. And because of that, my mom thinks I'm the devil. And she can't let go of that incident 20 years later. And that's the kind of girl that got confessed, and I would punch her in the face today because she was a rich bitch snob. I'm not proud of the fact that I stole from her, but I'm definitely proud that I stole from her instead of somebody else, because it's Robin Hoodie, and I don't care about stuff like that. It's who you commit the crimes against that matter in life. I like her cousin though. Her cousin was on my field hockey team and was really nice to me. So that. All right. Dimension 20. My mother, who starved and beat me to death, thinks I'm the devil because I stole from somebody's wallet. That's the kind of behavior, that's the reptile. That's the kind of behavior that Star operates under. It's like triple standarded against you. And like they can never get past their own hypocrisy for even a second. It's bizarro. Okay. Dimension 20 on the home. Urinary. Where you're still pissed off at stuff. See how that story aligns with this dimension. Right. Urinary home. Dimension 20. Dimension 20. City Oak. Dimension 20. The Hufflepuff Yoke. Dimension 20. The World Show. Try to get that in the underworld. All right. Dimension 21. Invasive home. This is also the integumentary system. Hair, skin, teeth, and nails. It's also a boundary system, which is hair, skin, teeth, and nails. Hairs, hairs, hair, eyelash, hair is boundary. So are nails, and so skin. All right, the city oak, invasive, dimension 21. And then we do, so the city oak, and then we do the Hufflepuff yoke. Then we do the world shell. Invasive. All right, the next one is 22, vortex recognition. On the home. This is where the so dimensions begin. This is also the senses system. Sight, smell, taste, touch, everything, because senses really begin here. Dimension 22, the city oak. I don't want to sense all the vortexes in the city. Okay, the Hufflepuff yolk. Dimension 22. And then we have the world shell, dimension 22. Dimension 23, vortex amplification. On the home. This will help clean up the knife rape because we'll do the A&R vortexes all over the place. That or something better. It's popping through my right shoulder all the time. All right, city oak, dimension 23. Maybe we just do cobra acid vortexes and eat everything away. Destroy everything. Okay. Hufflepuff yolk, vortex amplification, dimension 23. Somebody saying, can we just do an earth-bending vortex? Yeah. So earth-bending vortexes counter off a lot of the knife rape. Almost all of it. That's what Lucifer said. Is that the dragons that were the earthbenders had like no knife rape. They just put soil there instead. Healthy. All right. Dimension 23, vortex amplification. The world shall. So Hufflepuff is very much associated to the earth element. So we go Hufflepuff, earth, gnomes, and earthbender. Whereas the Slytherins is more fire, and then the Griffins is more air, and the Ravens are more water. So, and there are reasons for that. You have to really get to the point of your A and R marks, like a real Griffin, you have to get to like Aang level spiritual. If you can get to airbending, and then that level of humor and swiftness, like, so that's very like, very healthy GEBURAH is very good air. Okay. Vortex closure, dimension 24 on the home. Close out any of the icky knife rape stuff. So, very much how the Slytherin Fire Lords behaved in Avatar is very much how how the Slytherin knife rapers behave. So it's the same. It's the same. They go all fire in their brain, and they go, "I'm God," and then they can do whatever they want. And then when it's Hufflepuff, it like grounds and like centers you, and you go, "Oh, I'm just Muggle again." No longer in snake brain. And you feel the honey goo, and it like centers you. You're not at the honey goo yet in the Hufflepuff. The like you have a cook still left. All those videos will be on the top of my Facebook page coming out in the next 2 months. Are all the meditations I will be producing underneath Tinkerbell. Okay, dimension 24, home. Feels very good. City Oak. Vortex closure. Hufflepuff yolk, vortex closure, 24. Okay, the world shell, vortex closure. So historically, this was used to lock out Tiferet and griffins. So it's been abused. Because when Tiferetters and griffins begin to show up on the planet and ravens, like the Slytherins lose their power. Like, it's bad in life. So they'll do anything at all costs to keep their power instead of evolve. It's the old age-old story of clutching to something that is no longer yours. Okay, dimension 25, vortex manipulation. Reason why Elaine ascends so easily. I've never seen her clutch to anything ever. So it's not about age, just so everybody understands. It's about attachment. '25, vortex manipulation. And then we go City Oak, dimension 25. And then we've got Hufflepuff Yolk. Dimension 25. And then we've got World Shell. Vortex manipulation, dimension 25. This is a Seraphim-run planet, and the Hoshmalim are going to be right next to us. So we're still building up the Hoshmalim. But we'll get there. So Seraphim runs red ray, so they get there first and faster. And then when the Hoshmalim they ascend slower, and then they can throw a bigger punch. So it works nicely together. Okay, Vortex 26, or Dimension 26, Vortex Polarity. So that also works with the difference between the Seraphim and the Hoshmalim. different because they're almost polar opposite sides of the spectrum, but they're best friends and teammates. How do you do that? So 26, vortex polarity. I like that all the lower end thoughts are beginning to clean out from the bottom of the clipeth. That is starting to feel really, really clean and divine. You can never clean your floors too many times. Just keep cleaning lower. Somebody's finally understanding you do not ascend, you master, and that is correct. I will say though this, going from Netzach and Slytherin into Hufflepuff felt like ascension, but it was like ascension that was like beating you down. Where you're like, oh, you master it. So it feels like ascension. And then GEBURAH is the same way. All right. Vortex, polarity, dimension 26, City Oak. And then we have vortex polarity 26 on dimension 26 on the Hufflepuff yoke. And then the world shell. Dimension 26. The world shell. Vortex polarity. So my goal in life is to start getting my energy so masterful and calm and centered that I don't lose my shit or even get angry. We'll see how much that manifests. But the more centered and developed I get, and the more masterful even in this dimension that I can get, the less that I will go into fire and maybe more boom, 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 small ninja move. And that would be preferable in life. Less traumatizing. So ninja. You seek for airbending ninja. That's GEBURAH at its finest. And then if you can do it with humor, it's even better. Right now, I'm in like slaughter mode, just so you guys have a perspective. That's not where I'll be forever. All right. Vortex creation. Dimension 27, the home. My goal is to get to ballerina ninja. Where it's funny. That's even better. Right. Vortex creation. So that's the vortex I'm creating. Is that I'm going from Dragonfire Rage to Ballerina Ninja. And if I have to go Dragonfire Rage, I will. But that's like my second choice. Okay, then we go. '27 Vortex Creation on City Oak. Go Ballerina Ninja. So I feel some of the reptiles still at the bottom of the clipeth on the city level. I'm gonna be spending the next few decades burning everything out. Man. The home temple is pretty nice. All right. 27 Vortex Creation on the Hufflepuff. Like when you go outside of your home temple, you can feel the difference. The difference is it should be much smaller now, especially with these Russian doll folding yolks. It should be less of a, I go outside and I feel like I got wafted by a Slytherin. Whack. So the folding yoke is also part of the peony teaching. So it's the layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of the emanations, and that's why we do it in this way. So that's the teaching of GEBURAH. The ultimate boundary, multiple layers upon layers upon layers. Just keep going. This is God. So that teaching will never get old in life. God. That's the peony. So that's why we do it. All right, so vortex creation on the world shell. We're getting a ballerina princess grid on the world. Okay. We're gonna do all the next dimensions in the next video. Color N out.